You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the first part of What If Deku Enters Mashle, Magic and Muscles. Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of Leonardo 18 anime on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. The world was a different one now. Ever since a baby started glowing in China, people started to change too. People were now gaining powers, some seemed this as a curse while others saw as a blessing. With time a dream job was created, a job that was seemed like something out of the imaginary, be a superhero. At this moment the world has over 80% of its population being with quirk while the rest are deemed quirkless. People with no power have now become a minority and subjected to racism and other forms of hate crime. However, there are some quirkless people who are able to defend themselves and do not care for the opinion of people with powers. At a Japanese forest. There was a forest near a little town on the way to Tokyo. It wasn't much but it was nice rural place. At this forest there were all sort of cute animals and trees, however there was something odd in that forest in the moment that even the animals were left in shock, a kid with a bowl cut doing thousands of lifting with weights. Bam bam bam. After doing his workout the teen grabbed a cream puff. Nothing like a cream puff after pumping iron, said the teen eating his cream puff. This Mash burned dead, a quirkless 14-year-old who loves working out and eating cream puffs. He lived in the woods with his father although he didn't know why. The city was just a few miles away by foot, but he learned to never question his pops, so he stayed quiet. At a little house nearby. An old man named Regro was making some tea. He wanted to enjoy a quiet afternoon in his little house. He used his levitation quirk to lift the kettle to pour himself some tea. Oh yes, a nice book, the tea will be ready in a few minutes and no signs of rain. Today will be a very calm day, but I don't need to worry about that. I barely get stressed out and thought Regro when suddenly the front door of his house was pushed out. Crash. Scream Regro in horror. He then saw Mash holding the door. Oh hey Pops. I am back, said Mash to his father. All you had to do was open the door, not rip it off its hinges. Scream Regro in shock. I couldn't remember if I was supposed to push or pull. So, I just kind of forced it, said Mash. You mean you lived in here your entire life, and you couldn't remember it? Asked Regro. Sorry Pops. I will fix it, said Mash feeling bad. Regro stopped being stressed and looked at his son with a smile. He is always so amenable after he screw up. Maybe I shouldn't be this stress out, thought Regro regarding Mash. However, that didn't took long. Mash for some reason couldn't fit the door in the same place. He was putting in the wrong position and couldn't tell. Pout pout pout. Scream Regro. What? Asked Mash. You need to turn it. Turn it a little. Scream Regro. Weird. It won't go back in, said Mash still trying to put the door in its place. You've got it positioned wrong. Scream Regro, but Mash couldn't hear it because of the noise that he was making. What was that? Asked Mash. Quit with the pouting, would you? Asked Regro and Mash misunderstood. Spit on the foundling? Asked Mash confused as he kept pounding the door ended up breaking in half. Crash. The two saw that and were a bit astounded, Regro was while Mash was still unfazed. Sorry Pops, said Mash. It's okay, sighed Regro. The old man went to grab his tea. He put some in 2 mugs and gave one to Mash. Forget about that for now. What about today's training routine? Asked Regro. Done and done, but there's something I've been meaning to ask you, Pops. Why do you have me do nothing but working out? Asked Mash. The truth was that Regro didn't want Mash to have much contact with the people outside. Since he is quirkless, he will be mocked and tormented non-stop. This why Regro created this working out plan. If Mash is ever mocked by someone, he could fight back and make those people have a good taste of hard work. I won't be here forever to protect you, my son. I want you to fight back against those who attack you. Sure, you can't punch racism out of people, but you can at least show them what your hard work made you too, thought Regro. Pop, are you okay? Asked Mash. I am, and your workout is for your health. I want you to be healthy and keep your body in good shape, said him. Makes sense, said Mash, all calm. Regro soon got his jacket as Mash looked a bit confused. Are you going out? Asked Mash. Yes, I am going to the town nearby, said him. They live near a town where Regro would buy all the food and stuff that he needed to raise Mash. The teen didn't mind living in the woods with his pops, he liked it here and felt so much at peace. I will go out and buy us dinner, we had enough junk food this week. I will buy some of those vegetables that you want and more protein powder for you, said Regro. Thanks, Pop, said Mash. Finish your homework and remember. Do not go there, said him, all serious. I won't, said Mash. You're such a good son, Mash. I will be back soon, and if you are bored you can watch some TV. Goodbye, said Regro. As the old man leaves, Mash took out of his pocket a pamphlet that flew towards his workout area. Hero Cream Puffs. New flavors for half the price today. Mash's biggest weakness was cream puffs. He loved them to death and would do anything to get them, including disobey his father. Sorry, Pops, but I can't ignore the call of an empty stomach, said Mash, grabbing a jacket. At the town nearby. Mash went to the town only a few times in his life. If he went, it was mostly at night with his dad, and he barely talked. He never understood why he didn't want him around the townspeople so much. It's been a while since I came here, said Mash. The people were all displaying their quirks. Mash didn't mind that. There are some people that were born with mutation, and they couldn't do anything about that, but there were the people with human appearance and showing off little things like making stuff flow or make the meat into different colors or other things. Mash didn't find those things amusing. Couldn't they just do all this stuff with their hands, thought him. Mash soon found the cream puff store and went to talk with the vendor. Oh, hi there, young man, what would you like? Asked the vendor. I will take the family combo, said Mash. Sure thing, now paying in cash or card? Asked the vendor. Here, said Mash, handing over some coins. The coins, however, were all bent. I am sorry, sir, we can't accept money like this, said the vendor. Oops, let me fix it, said Mash, fixing the coins and making them straight. Oh, I see, your quirk let you bend steel? Asked the vendor. No, I don't have a quirk, said Mash, giving the money. Upon hearing that, the vendor started to look at Mash a bit worried. What? You're not using a quirk? Asked him. You, said Mash, all nervous. Orders up, said cook with the order of cream puffs. Thank you very much, said Mash, running off with his cream puffs. The idea of someone with no quirk bending steel was pretty much impossible. There was more to Mash than just his working out routine. At a police station nearby, a police officer named Brad Coleman was reading the newspaper while drinking his coffee. He was having a hard day because a bunch of heroes took over an investigation that he was working on. That's what happens most of the time in the police. You work hard, and the heroes sweep by and take credit for your efforts. What is this? Asked Brad, looking at newspaper. New member of the Visionaries. The elective group comprised of people with powers that exceed pro heroes gained one more member, UA2RD. Your business course student Ray names. The student apparently received over 10,000's offer to work for heroes all around Japan but declined all of them and joined with the Bureau of Quirk. Must be nice be born with a quirk that surpassed the pros, and you don't even want to be one, said Brad to himself. He himself was born with a strong quirk, but he didn't make the cut for hero classes and decided to become a police officer. He raised through the ranks, but it's clear that this was the line of work that he didn't imagine to be. While he was reading the newspaper, someone called him. Buzz buzz. This is Officer Coleman, said Brad. We got a situation in the center, said the caller. Asked Brad, confused. A few minutes ago. At the city. Mash was eating his cream puffs with no problem. He to be careful or he would eat the entire bag again. Wonder why he would be weirded out if I told him that I am normal. I don't know what is the deal, said Mash eating, when suddenly he bumped into a big guy. Bam! The person that Mash bumped was a big fat hero, not the famous fat gun. It was a large dude with a silly purple outfit, and he apparently was drinking. What? Look where you go, kid! Screamed the fat hero. The fat hero was named Bouncy Punch and once worked for Fat Gun until he got fired for drinking in the job. Instead of getting fired, he was signed to monitor this little city where almost nothing happens. The police got more respect than the local pro hero. I am on patrol, and you are bumping into me. I am a certified pro hero, I protect people and I am not joking. Do you want to feel the power of my big punch? Asked the hero, all wasted. Mash felt an awkward silence and decided to be nice. Would you like a cream puff? You seem like you could use it, said Mash, giving an already bitten cream puff. This Brad is for real. Is he treating me like a beggar? And besides, the cream puff is already chewed. Thought the fat hero. Bouncy Punch, real name Terry, got real pissed this time. He wanted to give this kid a lesson. Don't you want? Asked Mash again, offering the cream puff. This Brad is for real. Who does he think he is? Asked Terry mentally. The people all wondered what was going to happen. From their perspective, Mash could have caused the trouble. The teen, however, wasn't worried at all as he took a bite of the cream puff. Sorry, I took another bite, said Mash. That's it. Screamed Bouncy Punch, tossing the cream puff away. Bam! Picking a fight with a hero. Do you know what this is like? Besides, look at my costume. It's ruined and I won't have time to wash it. What do you think, punk? Asked Terry. Mash heard that and decided to do something extreme. He ended up ripping the costume out of Bouncy Punch, with everyone seeing that in horror. Rear up. Sorry about your uniform, I can clean it, said Mash, feeling bad, not realizing he made things worse. What? Are you nuts? You ruined. Do you know how long it's going to take to make another one? Asked Bouncy Punch. The people were all in shock. From their perspective, Mash was provoking the pro hero and just mocking him. He is picking a fight with a pro. Is this kid suicidal? I don't know. Soon Brad arrived with more officers, all coming to see what was happening. What's the problem? Terry, have you been drinking again? Asked the officer. Officer Coleman. This kid here is causing a ruckus on the streets, and I want to arrest him, put the quirk nullifying cuffs on him. Said Bouncy Punch. But I don't need that, said Mash. Upon hearing that, Brad got a little bit intrigued by that statement. What do you mean you don't need that? Said Brad. Before more question could happen, Regro appeared, running like he has never run before and swapping Mash. Sorry for my son's behavior. Screamed Regro, running off. The two were going towards the woods. Meanwhile, the officers and wasted pros saw that scene in confusion. What is that? Asked Bouncy Punch. I guess we are going to do some investigation. I need to get some things prepared, said Brad. The cop had a smirk on his face. Put your reserve outfit and follow me, said Brad. Where are we going? Asked Terry. We will make some research on the woods, said Brad with a smirk. Back at the burn-dead household. Mash was put back home while his father made sure to see if they weren't followed. Once the coast was clear, Regro started to argue with his son. Why did you went to the city? I told you not to. Said Regro, a bit angry. I saw an ad for a new pastry shop and they had cream puffs. I bow them for you too, I couldn't resist, said Mash, giving his father one cream puff while he ate four at the same time. This is serious, Mash. I was so worried once I saw you, said Regro, angry. I'm really sorry. It won't happen again, said Mash, being sad in the way he could express it, which was a bit hard. Regro never shouted seriously to his son, mostly it was when he broke the door, but this was so close and Mash had caused some problems with a pro hero, that could land them in jail, so he had to take him out of the scene and quickly. He's really broken up about it. It's clear that he regrets his actions. I can't stay mad at him for that, thought Regro, who was such a loving father. He then grabs the cream puff and had a little chuckle. Well, that's good, I supposed. Just be more careful next time, alright? As punishment, you'll repeat this morning training routine, said Regro. Okay, sorry for this, Pops. You can have all the rest of the cream puffs in the bag for you, said Mash, giving the rest of the cream puffs remaining. Oh, thank you, said Regro, smiling at his son's actions. Mash went outside to redo his training. For a normal person that would be insane to redo such a hellish training 2 times a day, but Mash was so used in doing workout that he could do his daily training at least 4 times a day. Vero was proud on how dedicated his son became in getting stronger. He's so obedient. I expected his teenage years to be rife with argument and mood swings and rebellious streaks, but he's so simple that I feel like I'm getting off easy, thought Regro, feeling something off. He thought about what Mash did at the town nearby, causing a scene with the police and a pro is not good. The law was serious now in this quirk-filled world and only the strongest survive at this point. Regro needed to think of a way for Mash to be safe. He's reached the age where he'll be able to leave the house. I've concealed him here away from the city thinking it was safe. But now the police and the Hero Public Safety Commission might come after him. Mash might be quirkless, but I always felt something unusual about him. We need to get out of here before, thought Regro, when suddenly. Boom! The door of his house exploded. The culprits were none other than the fat hero. Bouncy Punch and some cops led by their captain Brad Coleman. Hey old man, running away from a cop is a crime, don't you know, said Brad with a smirk. What? I just walked away from the city, there is nothing wrong with what I've done, said Regro. Oh no, you did. For you see, your son caused a commotion in the streets and tear off the uniform of a registered pro hero. That's enough evidence for us to take him to custody. Now where is that brat of yours, said Brad with a smirk. This is bad, thought Regro. With Mash. Mash was doing one of his regular works out, leg stretch while balancing almost half a ton with shoulders. For a person with no quirk, Mash was doing something unreal to see. It was almost like he wasn't human at all. What's even more crazy is that he wasn't even sweating for real. After a while he tossed the weights to the ground. 5 minutes is all I need when I put my mind to it, said him all alone in the forest. Mash put his regular clothes back and started to sing happily about all the delicious cream puffs he was going to eat today. As he comes home, he is stopped by a serious questions that popped into his mind once he see his door. Push or pull it? I forgot again. I guess it doesn't matter, said Mash, but before he could enter he heard some voices coming from inside his house that weren't of his father. You knew this day would come, said Brad, and Mash got worried. Inside. The cop was using his quirk gravity pocket, which allows Brad to create circles of gravity field which he can use to create mini prisons or something to slap people in the face. If he put a lot of pressure on it he could create a mini black hole for 5 seconds. At the moment he was using it to make donut-shaped circle to lift Vero in the air. Not only you are hiding a child which you don't have legal documents, you thought making him buff would make him like us, but it's not true. I heard him saying he doesn't need nullifying quirk cuffs, so that means he is quirkless. I guess those people are still around in Japanese areas, said Brad with a serious tones. Quirked people and quirkless people relations have been very fragile over the years. Nowadays quirkless people are considered a minority and suffered from abusive to racism even to this day. Some people say they were the ones that were good enough for evolution, others just say those things to be and but of it. Of course it is seen as racism to mock a quirkless person, but not even in a hero world things are 100% perfect. I don't know what are you talking about it. I have the documents, they are legit, he is my legal son. I also only trained him for safety, not to fit in, said Rigro, having a hard time to breath. The cop then tossed Vero to the ground, making the old man spit blood. Bam! Sheltering a child that is not even yours, one that now has a criminal record. If you cooperate, I will make sure that he is put in foster care. I can't promise to be a good one, but hey, you won't be sent to jail for that. Besides, who would adopt a quirkless kid anyway? Asked Brad with a smirk. I refuse. Mash is my son and nothing you say will change my mind. Scream Rigro. Brad, annoyed by the old man, started to punch him. It was police brutality, but there was nobody recording it, plus the old man was seen as a hermit by the town, so nothing would be seen as lost. Punch. Tell us where he is at. Now. Scream Brad. Rigro would never sold out Mash, he was the only good thing that has ever happened to him all his life. Ever since he was born his quirk of small levitation was seen as worthless. He could levitate something that was around 10 pounds, with a non-so-impressive quirk he had to work 3 times hard to make ends meet because that's how it works in today's society. Unfortunately, he wasn't the most athletic, the smartest, or the most serious while doing any job, so he was always met with criticism from people. You are no longer my son. I don't need someone so worthless bearing my name. You are fired. You will never work again. How come you are still standing? You are worthless. You should just kill yourself. Get out of my face and never call me again, you asshat. The pressure was so big that Rigro couldn't take it anymore. 15 years ago he really decided to commit suicide. He didn't have a wife, his family left him and he had pretty much no friends. So he went to a building at night and decided to take a swing, hoping that the pain would end. I can't stand this anymore. Maybe I will be reborn with a better quirk next life. Well, goodbye cruel world, thought a younger Rigro. As he was about to jump he heard something really surprising on the rooftop, a baby crying slash. Waya. Asked Rigro confused. The young man turned around to see a baby on the same rooftop as him. A baby? Asked Rigro, looking at the infant that was there all alone. He went there and looked around to see if there was somebody nearby. Where are your parents? Are you okay? Asked Rigro, holding the baby. He wonders why was that baby all alone. This wasn't like a popular building or something, it was an old one with barely any people inside. Who would do such a thing? Thought him trying to make the baby stop crying. With just a few movements the baby cries were done. Rigro took a look at the infant and saw him smiling all happy. You're happy, thought Rigro, now all emotional. For once in his life somebody was happy to be with him. Rigro knew what he was about to do was illegal, but if there was nobody to claim that kid he would take care of it. I will protect you until the day I die, said Rigro, hugging the baby. Over the years Rigro lived his best years with Mash, who he loved like he was truly his son, and even when find out Mash was quirkless he still loved him, because quirks or not Mash was his boy and nothing would interfere with that. Now even being beaten by a cop with a powerful quirk Rigro would not tell where his son was at. Spit out, old man. Where is he? Asked Brad, now getting a little vicious. Even if we are not related by blood. Even if the whole world reject us. I would always be a father to that boy. Thought Rigro, about to say something. Something to say? Asked Brad with a smirk. Run, Mash. Scream Rigro at the top of his lungs. The cops and the pro-heroes saw that and were surprised that he was still defending the kid. Stubborn old fool. The brat gotta be close by. Find him. Scream Brad, pissed. Go on, Mash. Get out of here. Scream Rigro with all the intensity and strength he could. He didn't care even if he died that day, all he wanted was for Mash to be happy. All that matters is that you survive. My one and only son. Thought Rigro, still shouting. This is getting annoying. Last change old man or, said Brad ready to stop this shouting. Before he could do something crashed into the house, breaking the wall and knocking out the other cop that was with the group. Crash. It was Mash who just did that and only had the eyes of a beast upon seeing his father all bloody and begging for him to run. Mash. Scream regrow. Once he was inside, Bouncy Punch prepared his quirk to put the boy down. Hey. Stop with that, you, said the pro ready to attack, but then Mash did something really absurd. First he ripped off the new costume that the hero was wearing, leaving him showing his belly to everyone. Rip. After that, due to the shock and confusion of what just happened, Mash took that opportunity to slap the pro hero almost 100 times in the cheeks, and it hurt a lot, so much. That Bouncy Punch pretty much got to his knees. Slap. Slap. After that, Mash just had his eyes focused on the cop who was mistreating his father. Regrow saw that scene and was just mad that Mash didn't run away. Why didn't you run, Mash? Asked Regrow. Because we're family. You're everything I've got, said Mash, making Regrow smile, all proud of his son. Brad, however, was the one who ruined the moment with his voice. This is all emotional and all, but you're coming with me, kid, said Brad. I won't. Sorry for being stubborn, Pops, but since I'm here, I might as well send you guys to hell, said Mash, now getting Brad to laugh in a mechanical style. What a joke. You think you can take me down without a quirk? Well, it's your funeral, kid. Screamed Brad, ready to attack. The cop started to form some kind of orb with his finger, making a gravity bubble with his quirk and putting a lot of force into it. Fool, Brad could have been a pro hero with his quirk. I seen him do tasks that not even good pro heroes are capable of doing it. This quirkless freak has no chance against him, though. Get Bouncy Punch with a smirk. The orb was getting more and more stable. It was like a little earthquake was happening in the house. Don't worry, kid, I will make sure the old man is put in a nice retirement home, said Brad with a smirk, getting his quirk ready to shoot. Bouncy Punch was now getting scared of this. This attack took down 4 villains at once. This is insanity. The kid is going to become dust after this, thought him. The cop soon shoot his power at Mash, however something really amazing happened before everyone's eyes. Once the gravity bubble came closer to Mash, the teen just slapped away as if it was a fly. Slap. Mash had a look of bored while doing that, meanwhile Brad had a look of pure shock. What? Asked him in surprise. The cop was confused. No human being could have done that, especially not a quirkless one. He could tell Mash was one of the 20% from far away, but what just happened was still beyond comprehension. Huh? How come this happened? This is the same attack that I used against villains. I am one of the few cops who gets to use my quirk in the line of duty, and it's a powerful one. How did this freak block as if was a freaking paper ball? Thogot Brad. Soon the cop started making another bubble. He was putting more strength and pressure into this one. He wanted to see where this would go. You put a good shot, kid. But let's see if you can stop this. Screamed Brad, holding his finger in gun mode and ready to fire. He is putting a lot of pressure. If he keeps one, he will make his black hole, and that could destroy the forest, thought Bouncy Punch. The cop was ready to do one more quirk shot, however just like last time, once it was released, Mash just slapped away like it was nothing. Slap. The cop and pro hero were beyond confused. A quirkless person doing that was almost impossible. How did he do such a thing? You think you're funny? Take this. Screamed Brad, shooting more and more. Mash, however, did again something unbelievable. He bended his knees as if he was going to play volleyball and started to hit back the bubbles as if they were actual ball. Brad saw that and was beyond shocked. Using his knees to reduce its momentum. What the hell is kid? Thought him. Mash even did some tricks with the other bubbles, looking like he was playing soccer, and tossed them aside as if they were garbage. Finally, it was his time to attack. Pops, I am going to use your spoon, said Mash, grabbing a wooden spoon. The cop saw that scene and knew something was about to happen. What the hell? Is he serious? Thought him. Brad soon started to put more and more strength into his next move, his final trump card, which was his black hole. Alright kid, you got lucky, but it's time for my black hole. There is no way you can beat me this time. I am putting enough force to swallow, said Brad, talking more and more about his quirk. Mash however had enough of this and tossed the spoon toward Brad's head, but he made him toss so the utensil would miss it, because if it was to hit Brad in the head he would have been dead. He felt the sensation because the spoon scared his cheek and got stuck in the wall behind him. Vroom. Bam. The cop soon stopped with the black hole because he was scared out of his mind. He got into his knees and just asked. Did I almost die from a spoon? Thought him. Mash however was still unfazed and ready to continue fighting. Threaten my family again and I will kill you, said Mash. Regro saw that and was beyond shock. How did Mash got this strong? His self-training was only meant to teach him self-defense. How is this even possible? Either way we are done for. Even if they leave he will call for backup or calls the news. We will be seen as national menace, thought Regro in horror. However, instead of angry, Brad was now laughing in glee. Ha 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 ha, laughed out Regro. Asked Mash, confused as Regro stopped laughing. Alright Mushroom Head, let's make a deal, said Brad. Asked Mash. Listen to me and you and the old man will be out of trouble, said him. Mash was now listening to what the dirty cop had to say. If this meant peace with his pops then he will listen to. You see, in this world power is all that matters. Do you think we all respect All Might because of his courage and good spirit? No, it's his quirk. Nobody has ever beaten that monster in decades because nobody knows what kind of power he is hiding. Now I am not asking you to be a pro hero, also because the UA exam are already finished. What I want is for you to surpass the hero course and become a visionary student. You see, every year a student that is not from a hero course receives this title, meaning that they are on par or even surpassing the current age of heroism. You however, without having a quirk, did the most ludicrous and outright scariest thing I've ever faced. So if you want total peace with the old man you will enroll UA at the regular course, rise through the ranks, be around the hero course, defeat them and get the title of visionary. After that no one will ever think of arguing with you, said Brad with a smirk. Humph. Said Mash, a bit worried. Mash wasn't the smartest boy in the world, but he could tell this was risky, but if it meant the safety of his father then he would do anyway. I can get the enrollment for you and get some friends to pull some strings to let you go to UA even though you never went to a middle school, said Brad. And what do you get with this whole thing? Asked Regro with a raised eyebrow. I'll be known as the man who discovered this diamond in the rough. I will get fame and fortune. Don't worry, you will get that as well, old man, but I will be taking a large cut, said Brad. You're such a rotten individual, said Regro, pissed. If that's the only way then I accept it. I will go on with this thing. Whoever is in my way I will crush them with my fists, said Mash, all serious. The declaration made the room all quiet. Brad was the one to continue to talk. Alright kid, I will enroll you on the regular course. Better start training harder than ever, you have heroes to surpass, said Brad. Mash went to help his father. They had a long road ahead of them to go. It would be a bumpy year, but Mash Burndead would do what it takes to live a peaceful life with his father, either with the racism of this world or not. A few weeks later. Mash Burndead was now a fully enrolled UA student. Officer Brad managed to get him to be at the general course, Class 1C. After that he received the UA uniform and it looked good on the muscle-bound team, but he didn't care. He didn't even know what UA might be like. He might be one of the few people in Japan who never cared about UA, pro heroes, or All Might. Mash whole world was his pops, cream puffs, and working out. Before going out for the first day Mash was putting stuff on his backpack while Regro was looking at him worried. Pops, are you going to cry? Asked Mash. Mash, my boy, are you sure that you want to do this? Asked Regro. It's okay, It's what I have to do," said Mash. "No, but this isn't what I wanted for you," said Regro, going to his son. Regro started to cry at his son's chest while Mash still had his usual stoic emotionless face. "Mash, I wanted to protect you from this crazy and horrible world that we live. I suffered so much because I have a really weak quirk. I couldn't imagine what they would have to done to you. This is why you trained so much, but I don't know if this will be able to handle those monsters at UA. You're everything that I have, son, please don't let them kill you," said Regro. Mash still had his stoic expression, but he showed the tone of caring for his elderly father as he cleaned the old man's tears with a tissue that he packed on his backpack. "Pops, you're worried and it's okay. I have trained 10 times harder since that day. No matter what, I will get that weird visionary title so we can get our lives back. I don't care what they brings to me. If they try to look down on me, I will look down on them," said Mash. The older man just looked at the teen in pure amazement. It was like his son was so mature and serious even though he grew up in the woods with him. "How did you become such a fine young man?" asked Regro. "You raised me well," said Mash. The two hugged off. They were truly a lovable family. "I am off," said Mash, grabbing his backpack. "Oh wait, don't you want some cream puffs?" "I bought some yesterday," said Regro. "Don't worry," said Mash, opening his backpack. Regro saw his son's backpack. It was filled with cream puffs. Tons and tons of cream puffs and maybe a notebook at the bottom. "What? There are more cream puffs than books in here," screamed Regro. "I need protein and sugar," said Mash, all simple as the old man just sighed. Soon Officer Brad arrived at the little house, knocking on the door and looking annoyed. "Come on kid, we gotta go," said Brad. Mash just nodded and went with the officer. It was time go to UA. Regro just looked at that in fear, just praying to the heaven that Mash would be okay. It was going to be hard to keep in touch since Mash doesn't have a cell phone, because he didn't know if he should have bought him one or not. Mash even said he didn't want it. He saw he was going to spend most of the day worried about his son. At Musutifu. Mash was Brad's car, just looking at the sky to be busy. Meanwhile the cop was about to start his little prep talk. "Listen up kid, this is serious. Whatever you did to train, you better put to good use. There are 40 people in your year that stood up and won the position of a hero student. Some might make sense and some might not, but the point is that you need to make sure they know you exist and you will surpass them. All of them are there to become number one and achieve glory, Allah Almight," said Brad. "What about doing good or taking care of people?" asked Mash. "Nobody gives a CRP for people feeling. Have seen what they post online. The number of heroes that quit because idiots online kept bashing them on social media is ridiculous. At least you look like someone who doesn't mind this stuff. Also, make sure that you are giving UA credit, like they inspire you to do these feats," said Brad. "Why would I say that? And why would they like this?" asked Mash. "I don't know. Good publicity. Listen, just to do your workout weird thing and beat those hero course students, get good grades, get the Bureau of Quirks attention, and then you will get the visionary position. You will be someone who will be in history books and all. Your old man will be safe, and I will get my cut and quit my job," said Brad, all excited. The teen barely listened to what the cop was saying. He was just focusing on getting his father safe. He would climb all the stairs to get the visionary position, and if someone had a problem that he would try to do all these things even if he didn't have a quirk, then they would get a fist on their face. "Fine," said Mash. "I think this is the start of someone great," said Brad. Soon they arrived at a large trail of cars, all leaving their kids at UA High. They had to wait for a while until they reached the entrance. "Alright, here we are," said Brad. Mash took a look at UA High for the first time. It was like a giant U and a giant A. He was a bit confused at that but decided to quit thinking of that, otherwise his brain would give up. "Have fun and don't get expelled," said Brad. "Right," said Mash. The cop drives off as Mash got inside of the gates of UA. once he entered those gates he saw how big the school and was and only had one word to say. "It's big," said Mash. Inside, there was a ton of people all talking outside their classroom and chit-chatting like they owned the place. A lot of them were of human appearance, but there was a good amount of mutate people around, but in this world a person with a horse face is as common as a guy with brown hair. Mash didn't mind those people, he never cared for someone's appearance. Right now, he was trying to find the class he was going to be. 1C 1C 1C. Where is 1C? Asked Mash confused. The teen was completely confused to where to look, even though there was giant letters to indicate which room was each class. At 1C. The homeroom teacher was a member of the Bureau of Quirk, Claude Lucci. He had a powerful quirk and was seen as hero material, but he was happier with the Bureau. He was a bit arrogant and hated to deal with heroes because they liked to show off their hero material at his face. However, once he got the opportunity to teach at UA in the general education course he took the chance in a heartbeat. Claude Lucci. Quirk, Earth Control. He can control the properties of the ground and the earth that he is standing around. He can also concentrate to make the ground and earth to become any object he wants. He is able to create a whole maze in just 5 seconds without breaking a sweat. Look at all these kids. I can tell some of them really try to pass the hero exam, but most of them shouldn't have woken up at that day. I want them to work hard, so I will push their limits at every moment. If that piece of CRP Erasir can get away with treating students like this, then I can do it too, thug at him. The class was about to start and he saw just one seat empty in the class. Number 18 was missing. Well, it appears someone didn't show up. I guess he or she was too embarrassed to lost their position that they decided to quit. Kids these days are so childish and thug at Claude. As he was thinking about the missing student, the door of 1C started to shake, much to everyone's confusion. Asked Claude. Then the door was ripped out of its hinges. Crash. The entire class had their eyes being popped out in shock. Claude in particular was pretty much in pure horror of that. What? Screamed Claude in shock, wanting to know who did this. Is this 1C? Asked Mash, holding the huge door. What is the meaning of this? Why did you break the door? Asked Claus, pissed. I didn't know how, if it was to push or pull, said Mash, all simple. You had to break that whole thing. The door alone is very expensive, said Claude. My bad, I can fix it if you, said Mash, going to put the door back at its place, but it ended up breaking in half. Crash. The whole class just looked at that in shock, while Claude would pretty much snap at that moment. However, he remained calm and decided to deal with this another time. Ugh. Just take a seat, I will deal with you later, said Claude, pissed. Mash just went to his seat as the man started to open his class. Well kids, I know most of you are here because your scores at the hero exam weren't that good. However, don't worry, there are still a chance to get back into that so precious hero spot that most of you want. For you see, I am not just a regular teacher, I am Claude Lucci of the Bureau of Quirks. I bet most of you know me from my team-ups with the Wild Pussycats and the eco-friendly hero teams. That's right, I am going to teach you all what I know about hard work and quirk use. If you all put your mind into these training, you might get a spot on the hero course, said Claude, showing off his power with making his entire class floor be wavy, almost like a C. The entire class was impressed by Claude. His quirk was hero level, and he was seen as a bright start in the news. Whoa! Claude Lucci himself, I can't believe that he is here at UA. Yes, I thought some people of the Bureau have got jobs in here, but not as teachers. This is insane. He could pretty much make UA sink without a problem. I bet he is strong, the most heroes in here. While most of the students were praising Claude, only one wasn't it, and it was of course Mash, who was just confused about the teacher's declaration. You could have told us that during our training, but now it ruins the moment, said Mash with some observations. The entire class just had a look of shock as they look at the bowl-cut student. I am gonna flunk him. Thug at Claude. The teacher just started his class in less than 5 minutes, and he already found his least favorite student. Well, before we head out for orientation, we have some small things to do. Please fill out the form in front of you, which one? This one right there, said Claude, snapping his fingers. Snap. Soon paper started to fall out of the ceiling, landing in each student desk perfectly, almost like it was handed out to the fresh from the copier. Whoa. Cool, I wish my middle school did that. Even handing out paper is that exciting here. That's UA for you. The students kept praising their teacher, much to Old Man Grimm. However, the only one not impressed was again Mash. Why didn't you just set all of that before we got here? Asked Mash again. I'll kill him. Though Claude pissed. You're just asking yourself to be tossed out of here, mushroom head, said Mash classmate who was in front of him, a purple-haired guy with a tired face. Claude just tried to ignore Mash and continue with his class. Just filled out these forms for me. They are easy things, like full name, birthday, BLD type, quirk and allergies, the usual. None of you are going to have a trouble answering it, said Claude. Then Mash raised his hand, much to the teacher's annoyance. Said Mash. What is it? Asked Claude, now pissed. I can't answer this whole paper, said Mash, looking at the quirk filling. He didn't know he should put quirkless or none. Why is that? Asked Claude. The thing was that Mash just wanted to know what should be the way that he write his answer, but since he wasn't great in communicating with other people outside of his father, and the fact that Claude already hated him just made things a lot worse. I just don't know how to answer it, said Mash. Alright, that's it. Strike 3, kid, come with me, said Claude, grabbing Mash by the collar. Said Mash, confused. I will have a talk with the principal. I am going to expel your ungrateful butt. I should have thrown you out the moment you ripped the door out of here, said Claude. What? Asked Mash, confused. I can't expel students without the principal knowledge. I don't know why he let that disgusting worm have that power and not me. Come now, said Claude, dragging Mash. Oh, I can't get expelled, said Mash. Well, too bad. Everyone fill out your forms and head to orientation. I will send a robot to help you out. Now let's go, mushroom head, said Claude. The entire class saw that and was beyond confused about that scene. Who was that guy? Why was he acting like this? The class was just filled with questions about that mushroom haircut kid. 5 minutes and he get expelled, is that a new record? Asked the purple-haired kid with a smirk as the class just looked at that a bit tense. Most of the classmates were just regular students, with a few of them having a mutation-like appearance because of their quirks. However, there were some that were going to be integral later, like a shy boy with black hair and yellow bangs who was just wondering what was going on, a blue-haired student who kept looking at a picture on a lock and didn't even bother to look up, a meek blonde-haired girl who was a bit scared, and a red-haired teen with a bandana who was beyond confused on what had just happened right now. At the Principal Nizu office. Principal Nizu, the weird creature that was the current principal of UA, was taking a final look at the files for this year's students. A lot of promising figures have arrived at UA, including the next user of One for All, the son of the number 2 hero, an exploding teen who was the top student at the hero exam, and so many more in various sectors. However, one student that was giving the rodent a little bit of anxiety was Mash Burndead, who was signed to UA. He was the only quirkless student in the whole school and got into the school due to recommendation from Officer Brad Coleman. Nizu just hoped that if this kid suffers bullying he would go and talk to the teachers. While Nizu was finishing putting his documents away, his secretary informed him of something. Mr. Principal, your guest has arrived, said her. Oh, send him in, said Nizu, happy. Soon the guest arrived in Nizu's office, his old friend Wahlberg Bagine, the head of the Bureau of Quirks. Oh Nizu, it's been a while, said Wahlberg. Wahlberg-san, we need to make this more often, said Nizu. The man was very old. He had a long white beard and almost no hair in his head. In all, true Wahlberg is one of the oldest people living in Japan and was still working. His quirk was one of the most unique and dangerous ones that has ever been bestowed to a person in this era of humanity, some say that Wahlberg was present during the rise of pro-heroes when they first started, but it's only a rumor. At the moment, the old man has been only doing paperwork at the bureau and seeing potential applications for the position of visionary. My good friend, how the years have been to you? Asked Wahlberg. Very good, working things around in a good pace and let students achieve their dreams, said Nizu. Good, being a principal can't be an easy job, I can only imagine being the principal of a hero school, said Wahlberg. How are the things on the bureau? Asked Nizu as he poured some tea. They are going good, everyone is doing their job properly and every mole we managed to catch up and sent to Tartarus. However, I also came here to ask you something that couldn't be heard over the phone, said Wahlberg. Being a very old person in the world of quirks, Wahlberg knew about a lot of secrets, one of them being the true power of the number one hero. Is this the year that he decided to find a successor? Asked Wahlberg. Yes, in fact he already found it and he has one for all inside of him. He is a good kid, quirkless at BRTH like himself, desires to be a great hero and has a great sense of determination, said Nizu, describing Izukumidoriya from what he heard from Toshinori. That's great, I hope to meet him someday, said Wahlberg, smiling. How are the visionaries doing? Asked him about the elite of powerful quirk users. All of them are doing well, some still don't like to work with pro-heroes, but what can I do? I am not a babysitter, said Wahlberg. Agreed, some heroes are worse than kids at kindergarten, said Nizu with a smile. Amen to that, so how is last year visionary doing it? Asked Wahlberg, referring to Rain Ames. Nizu just held his teacup with a look of interest. Rain was a piece of hard work. He arrived 2 years ago and won the UA Sport Festiva twice, rejected to be in the hero course and achieved the position of visionary. At the moment he had received the job of security of a lot of properties and he had improved their safety. Mr. Rain is still get used to balanced school life and a visionary life. He also has now more endorsements than most hot-shot heroes than I can count. I know he uses to pay for his living quarters and making sure he and his brother have a good amount of money. Also, he uses a good amount of money for private things, but I don't know what they are, said Nizu, just wondering what Rain was spending on it. He is the youngest visionary in Japan history at the moment. Half of them already like him, but you can tell who doesn't it, said Wahlberg. Well, he is a natural-born talent, if he was in the hero course he would have already reached the top 10 by now and we both know that he could have done it, said Nizu, being honest. Rain was truly a powerful quirk user. Being a member of the Bureau of Quirk was kind of an odd position, you either are chosen or go there if you want to do hero work but don't want a costume or a hero name. It's a bit more complicated, which might be a reason on why it's not as popular as being a pro-hero. So how do you have any applicant for the bureau? Asked Wahlberg to Nizu. Well, said Nizu, looking at the list, and there was no applicant. The students of the regular course can either choose to try out again for the hero course, try for the Bureau of Quirks, or none of them. 90% chose to try out for the hero course again, the rest stated that didn't want to try for neither of them and nobody wanted to go to the bureau. It's okay, we are not as popular as a pro-hero position. Kids tend to go with the most popular way, they would rather be like All Might than be a boring member of the bureau and do only save people when it's needed and have the permission, said Wahlberg. Would you like the files of the regular course students? Maybe one of them might be interested in working it there. Said Nizu with a smile. Sure, it will be a pleasure, said Wahlberg. You know, you might find a diamond in the rough among these students, said Nizu. Well, you never know, I might find the next visionary candidate around here, said Wahlberg. The two kept talking for a good amount of time, until they heard a knock on Nizu's door. Knock knock. The two looked at each other confused. Nizu told his secretary to not let anyone come to his office while he was talking with Wahlberg, only let it if the subject was serious. Come in. Asked Nizu. Claude arrived at the office while dragging Mash. Principal Nizu and oh my Mr. Wahlberg, I didn't expect to see you here, sir. Said Claude, giving a bow to his boss. Oh Mr. Lucci, what seems to be the trouble? Asked Nizu. This rascal started a lot of trouble in the first few minutes of class. What do you have to say about that, mister? Asked Claude, showing off Mash. The teen was looking calm at that moment, eating a cream puff much to the confusion of everyone in the room. Hi, said Mash. Are you eating a cream puff right now? Asked Claude. I was hungry, said Mash. Well, no lunch in the principal office, said Claude, taking the cream puff out of his hand. The two veterans saw that and could tell that the kid had absolutely no idea on why he was called here. Oh, you must be the principal. I am sorry, I promise not to do it again, said Mash, bowing to Nizu. What have you done, young man? Asked Nizu. He broke a door, disrespect me in class, and couldn't even finish the form correctly, said Claude, pissed. Why is that? Asked Nizu, confused. Because I can't use a quirk, I don't have one, said Mash. And that's no reason of not filling your form. If you can't do that properly, how are you going to try out to be a pro hero? Asked Claude. I don't want to be a hero, I want to be a visionary, said Mash. The answer surprised both Nizu and Wahlberg. While they were looking for candidates for the Bureau of Quirks, lo and behold, this kid appeared. Well, with your lack of quirk, there is no way you will even get that position. People like you should be shipped away, and said Claude, and then Wahlberg stopped that whole scene. Mr. Lucci, please stop shouting, said Wahlberg calmly, but with the most passive-aggressive tone you could imagine. Said Claude, now sweating bullets. You will not expel this boy now, and you will apologize to him for your behavior. He was able to see his mistake and apologize. What about you? Said Wahlberg. What? Why is that? Asked Claude, confused. We can't expel him until we see what kind of fire he is willing to give for this country. We still have the assignment to give, said Wahlberg. Assignment? Asked Claude, blinking in confusion. Tomorrow we will do a test, a special test that will give these kids a chance to be on equal part with the hero course, and I want every single student of that course to be present, including him, said Wahlberg, pointing at Mash. Said Claude, now a bit anxious. He remembered the assignment, but he didn't expect a quirkless person going to try out that thing. Of course, you would like to do an evaluation on your performance as a teacher. Would you like that? Asked Wahlberg, now scaring Claude. Oh no, no, no. Please, Mr. Wahlberg, I know you are very busy, sir, and I don't want to get more work on your plate. Don't worry, this kid here will be present tomorrow. Sorry that much, I mean Mr. Burndead. Said Claude, now acting nice to Mash. The situation was now resolved, and Mash got to keep studying at UA. Before the teacher and student could go back to class, Wahlberg had a few questions to give. Young man, even with no power, why did you decide to go to UA? And why do you want to be a visionary instead of a hero? Asked Wahlberg. Because I want to protect those who I love. I feel being a visionary would be way more practical and simpler than being a weird hero, said Mash, being honest. Weird? Thought Nizu. The old man just had a smile on his face. He could tell that there is something more that this kid wasn't telling, but he wasn't going to pressure him into giving the whole story. He also knew that once the benefits of being a member of Bureau appeared, then more applicants would appear and try to get that spot, but the old-timer was just happy to see someone already determined to get the post before many others. I see, well, this will be everything, said Wahlberg. Okay, thank you for your time, sir. Let's go, kid, said Claude to his student. Young man, what is your name? Asked Wahlberg. Mash Burndead. The two soon left the room, Wahlberg just smiling in wonder what he just discovered. That kid is interesting, said the old man. He is, according to the files, he is the only quirkless student in the whole school. It says he was homeschooling his whole life before starting at UA. A little bit odd for someone starting high school here, said Nizu, a bit worried. He knows prejudice against quirkless are still big. He had a pretty serious anti-bullying police around his school. He just hoped Mash would be open if someone started to mess with him. While I have some questions about his motivations, I could sense something in him, said Wahlberg with a smile. The two went to discuss Mash and what he could bring to the whole system. The idea of a quirkless visionary was almost impossible, it's like a quirkless hero. The people expect the ones at the top having the most powerful abilities ever imagined by man, so seeing that someone that has no power get that title would bring a lot of outrage from the public. Also Wahlberg doesn't trust the HPSC getting around some areas, and he has some strong dislike of their true nature. But for now, he just wonder if this Mash Burndead will perform good on tomorrow's test. A little later. At 1C. The whole class was having a regular activity after the opening ceremony. Alright class, grab your notebooks. Today is the first day so it will mostly be a syllabus day, said Claude. Mash grabbed his notebook but also a cream puff which he planned to eat during class. What are you doing? Asked Claude confused. Can I eat my cream puff during class? Asked Mash. No. Screamed Claude taking the cream puff out of Mash's hand. Oh, said Mash looking sad. The teen was almost expelled on the first day, but he has his shot tomorrow to show off what he can do in this world of superpower individuals. A lot of training was done for events like these. The next day. It would be a big event for the students of the general course at UA, this would be test also known as the ultimate test of courage. It's the first big show-off for the regular course students to show their potential to be in the hero course, however it was a test more tricky than the hero exam, that one was just destroy the robot and move on. This test was a little more complicated. It was a sunny day at UA, all the students of the regular course were using their gym uniform and doing warm-ups. Mash was lifting weights and training as hard as he could, everyone just eyed him as a weirdo as he did his thing with no problem. Soon Claude appeared, taking a microphone and giving the announcement. Greetings students and welcome to this year test. Now please I would appreciate if you all pay attention to what I am about to say, said Claude. The students stopped doing their workout and paid attention to the professor who just had a smirk on his face. Great, it's like they see me as their salvation, thought Claude with a smirk. You could just say already what you wanted so bad, said Mash all simple. I hate him. Thought Claude all pissed. The teacher decided to ignore Mash and go ahead with the announcement. Alright, I am going to give the basic idea of what this test is. UA has already selected its 40 students to be their next hero course students. Now most of you know that it's not impossible to get into the hero course even though you failed the test. Some students of said course can get expelled or be replaced. However, to get there you have to earn one thing: determination, so thanks to the Bureau of Quirks we do this test to see if your abilities and intellect are on par with those 40 students who managed to get in. If you do well in this test that will give you more chance to get into the hero course in the future. You want to be on the path for #1 hero? Well, time to work 10 times harder than you did for the hero exam, said Claude. The students all gossiped and talked about this test. Some were super serious about doing this, they wanted to get their chance and arrive at the hero course, while some didn't even want it to try out and were okay in being a regular student. In the crowd there was one student who felt this was his golden opportunity. Hitoshi Shinso was an isolated teen who eager to be a great hero like his idol Eraserhead, however his mind control quirk was always seen as a villain one. Shinso wanted to show those people that he had the qualities of being a great hero, also the list of some of the students who got to the hero course pissed him off. How did an invisible girl and a midget with sticky ball got to be heroes but he didn't? Well this time he wasn't going to let this opportunity slide. I may have lost the hero exam, but I will climb my way into a hero spot, thought him. Claude saw a lot of students were showing their grim faces. To get a good score in this test you have to save people, defeat villains, and be smart to escape certain situations. This year is going to be a fun one to inspect, thought him. Soon he snapped his fingers, and a giant maze appeared out of the ground, separating most of the students from each other. Everyone was scared but it was all part of the test. If you want to be part of the hero course you have to show that you're clever. You want to get out of this maze, find your way and help as many people as you. I know some of you don't want to be part of the hero world, but you can be the civilians to be rescued. Also don't complain that you didn't sign on this, your parents already signed your qualifications for these scenarios. If you're flying you will be shoot down, we don't take kindly to cheaters in these exams, said Claude. The students were all scared, but most of them already have their game face and their quirks ready to go. You all have 30 minutes to finish this maze. Good luck to you all and plus ultra, said Claude as he announces the beginning. At the maze. The students felt like rats trapped in a literal maze. Some were running around in circles, others were trying to play smart, while others just went all ballistic all around the place. Shinso wanted to the first one out and he decided to go as fast as he could. I gotta get a good amount of points, there might be villains bots in here and I need help, thought him. Then he saw some students walking around the maze and that got him an idea. Bingo, though got him. The purple hair student went towards the lost ones and decided to speak with them. Hey, said Shinso. Asked the students confused. Come with me and help me destroy the enemies, said Shinso activating his quirk making the students fall under his spell. Yes sir, said the students. Shinso felt that this test was already guaranteed, he could claim these two as saved hostage and use them to help take down enemies that were big enough for him to fight alone. However, what he didn't count were all the hidden cameras around the maze. Claude had installed them to keep progress of the students. The teacher saw Shinso using the students as basic minions and just had a smirk on his face. Using other participants as your LBR workers instead of doing work yourself. Disqualified, said Lucci crossing Shinso name out of a clipboard. At another part of the maze. Mash looked lost but he didn't mind that, he would find the exit and get a good amount of points in this test. This should be a piece of cake, said Mash ready to start walking around the maze. Excuse me. Could I possibly tag along with you? Asked a girl named Lemon Irvine. Why? Asked him. Well you see I thought it might be more efficient if we worked together. I don't have a strong quirk and you were to rip that huge door yesterday so teaming up would be for the best, said Lemon. Makes sense, said Mash using his quick logic. The two kept walking around the maze for a few minutes, they heard some students screaming and that spooked Lemon. Mash on the other hand looked calm. I wonder what kind of traps they have waiting for us. Just thinking about it makes me feel nervous, said Lemon. The innocent girl was so nervous that she didn't saw a rock on her front and she ended up laying her face in the ground. Bam! Ouch! Said her. Mash just looked neutral as always even as small robots came towards them. Evil robots. Save me. Scream her. Mash kept helping her every 2 minutes, he didn't mind that at all but after a while he realized that he was the one doing most of the hard work. Then an announcement made by Claude was heard across the maze. 10 minutes left. Said him which made Mash all worried. I gotta hurry. Said him running and leaving Lemon behind. The girl looked a bit angry and soon activated her quirk. Chained up. Screamed her. Mash arms and legs were both locked in chains, he looked more confused than angry. Asked him. Sorry, but if I want to succeed, I need to get all of your points. Lemon Irvine. Quirk, chain summoning, she can summon chains with her hands, at least around 5 meters of chains and she can also create small locks that can make someone unable to escape. What is this? Asked Mash. I apologize for deceiving you this whole time. But I have my own personal reasons for doing this and you were doing so good that I needed to stop, said Lemon. What's the reason? Asked Mash. I said it is personal. Said Lemon a bit nervous. So you fooled me? Asked Mash. It's no use, when someone is with my chains not even a grown bear can break them, I am sorry but you are not going to break theses, said Lemon. Sorry, but I've got a personal reason on my own, said Mash all simple as he broke the chains that restrained him. Crack. Holy cats. Though Lemon scared, this guy is strong. What kind of quirk is that? Later, said Mash leaving he girl alone. Lemon was now all alone in the maze and with the clock running down she was about to lose her points. This is bad. I have to catch him before he reaches, said her alone but then. Hold right there. Scream a metallic scary voice. The girl turned around to see a giant robot the size of All Might holding a giant gun. Are you a criminal? Answer to me. I am the law. Screamed the robot. Lemon was frozen in fear, she didn't know what to answer to something like that. She was never that good in handling things under pressure. I said her all scared. Answer me or you will be taken down, said the robot. Lemon just started to sweat a lot and decided to attack the robot. I need to use my quirk, it might be tricky but what other choice do I have? Thug at her. Lemon was about to use chains when the robot shot at her in the stomach with a power blast. Bam! Arg! Screamed Lemon in pain. Lemon got a pretty nasty bruise, and she was even bleeding a little bit. You tried to attack me. A hero on duty. Are you a villain attacking? Asked the robot. Lemon was now scared, this was a hero standard in the test and she didn't know. How could she didn't see it? I don't know. I am not a good person, nor I am a good girl, said her. The robot kept a look of serious towards her as he prepared another shot. You are going to be taken to Tartarus. Said him. This is my punishment. Talk about the girl who cried wolf. I am so sorry Mushroom Head for tricking you, thug at her all scared. Before Lemon could be shot down someone appeared to save her, it was the same boy who she tricked early. You are a hero. You look like something a kid made up on a notebook, said Mash as he smashed the head of the robot. Bam! The robot soon started to glitch out and he ended up being shut down and being eliminated. Lemon was beyond confused now, there was only 2 minutes left and Mash came back to save her. Why did you come back? Asked her. I thought your personal reason might be like mine. I felt bad for you, said him. The girl just blushed at that and decided to ask the next logical question. How are we going to get out of here before the timer runs out? We will never make it at this point, said Lemon. Yes, we will, said Mash. How? Asked Lemon. Give me a second, said Mash looking at the robot enemy. At outside of the maze. Most of the students were out and there was now only 1 minute left on the timer. Shinso was enraged when he saw that he was disqualified from the test. What? I didn't get a single point. Said Shinso pissed. The cameras saw you doing dirty tricks to get around, this is not hero-like at all, said Claude. What did I do? Asked Shinso. Using your quirk to use others to do your job is not very heroic. You could have just said to other participants to go into safe spots or just get their points and kept them around to be like your rescue points, but no, you used them as your own personal squad to take down enemies and now I have 4 people having to go to the infirmary. So yeah kid, no points for you. Said Claude being a JRK but also fair towards Shinso. The purple hair students just looked perplexed at that, he acted like a total villain in that place and he didn't even notice. I thought I was doing the right thing. What am I not getting? Thought him. While Claude was checking on the students' health both Nizu and Wahlberg were there to see the results. Did some of these students impress you? Asked Nizu. Well, some of them did but I fear they might be aiming for hero course in the end, said Wahlberg. And Mash burn dead? Asked Nizu. I don't see him anywhere, said the old man. I am sorry bygone, but I guess he couldn't make it. A person with no quirk was not made to endure a maze of that state, said Nizu. Maybe I was wrong in the end, said Wahlberg sounding disappointed. Then everyone started to hear some weird noise, something that sounded like a drill. Asked most students. The whole regular course looked at the maze in confusion while the rodent and old man wanted some explanation. What is going on Lucci-san? Asked Nizu. Looks like something breaking the camera's connections, said Claude confused. Then something happened that shocked everyone, a giant explosion happened. Bam! The explosion made a giant opening which revealed both Mash and Lemon appearing. I made an opening, said Mash all simple. What? Scream most students. The entire regular course wanted to know how did Mash made an opening like that. Brute force alone was useless against that maze. That's when they saw the weapon. The one used by the fake robot hero in the maze, the one that looked like a plane propeller. Mash picked one of them and used to make holes in the walls which made their exit quite easy. Did he just pick up one of the weapons? Not even those pro-hero here wanted to hold that monstrosity. Thought Claude in shock. Wahlberg just looked at that scene with a smirk. Despite having no quirk, that boy was showing much more strength and capability than most pro-heroes today. He was going to be a great candidate if he keeps going. That boy is something, thought him. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 2. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author Leonardo 18 anime on fanfiction.net. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye. Sasaswast.